Hi everybody, welcome back to a new video on BBIG. Here we are on Friday looking at BBIG stock. So far BBIG is down by about 4.39%, and yes, there's about an hour to go until the market does close, and a lot of things could change. But yeah, so far we have seen a red day with BBIG. Ultimately, I want to speak about why this may be. We have a lot of different opinions to discuss in this video, but today is Friday, and I think there are potentially some very specific reasons as to why the stock price is falling on today. Again, this is all just my personal thoughts and opinions, not financial advice. I think you guys need to be reminded that you should make your own opinions and do your own research when getting into these stocks, especially stocks like BBIG. It's important to note that short squeeze plays are risky. I'm sure you guys do know that, but I'm just reminding you both for my safety and for yours as well. But do remember to subscribe to this channel. Of course, we talk about this stock very often, almost every single day. So if you do want to hear about more videos on it, this is the place for you. But let's have a look at what we are seeing today with BBIG. So far today, BBIG is falling down to below the $8 mark. It looks like we could be coming back to above that in a few moments, sat at $7.99 right now, but ultimately we have been below $8 at points today. We started off the morning on a price of about $8.69, above the 850 mark, but right now we are dipping all the way down to below the $8 mark. It looks like we could be seeing a bit of a rise towards the end of day, and you guys will know this is something that sometimes does happen with BBIG stock. Sometimes we have a very weak day, then we see a big spike at the end of the day. We've seen this in the past, and it definitely could happen today with BBIG, but ultimately it is looking like a red day, and that is the main thing that I want to focus on, because I think there are some very specific reasons to that potentially to talk about in this video. We'll talk about what we're seeing over here from StockTwits activity, and what we are seeing over here is that less and less people today are talking about BBIG. Again, I must emphasize that this is not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't really mean anything. Ultimately, the members in the BBIG forum have gone up. We are sat at 51,000 now. We can see that the message volume is down by 13%, and it has been falling for a considerable amount of time. Sentiment is falling by 1.06%, currently sat at 94.33, and I must emphasize once more, StockTwits is not the best indicator of what is going on in the markets. It just tells us what a few people are saying about a particular stock, and there we go. We can see the sentiment is slightly lower than it was previously, and the message volume is down, but that's not necessarily a bad thing at all. Now I want to focus on is some data from Will Mead, and then I will be sharing my opinions at the end of the video. So here we go, BBIG talking about a few things. He says that he was stopped out of BBIG stock. The market is so weak at the moment, and he will buy this stock again next week when the market improves. But what I really want to focus on from Will Mead is when he posted a few hours ago talking about the short interest for BBIG. So we have the updated S3 real-time short interest from 5 hours ago. For BBIG at the moment, it is at a 28% short interest. This is ridiculously high, especially since you can't borrow the stock, as cost to borrow is almost 100%. If the market focuses on squeezing this stock, it will squeeze. Now, this is something that I always like to mention, especially with this stock. People talk about all these different short squeeze stocks, and I say it in every single video. There are a lot of stocks on the market right now that are primed for a short squeeze, some bigger than others, but it doesn't necessarily matter. Ultimately, the numbers for BBIG are currently here, but what we need to see is the increased interest from retail investors. I've heard about 10 short squeeze plays in the past week, and again, all of these do have that potential, but if people just got together and potentially went into one of these plays rather than targeting a few, we have less of an effect that way. So if we get into one at one time, it could potentially have more of an effect. What I'm trying to say is I think people get distracted a lot when it comes to short squeeze plays, and they don't really hold out for the length of time it takes to potentially trigger that squeeze. So like I said, the data is there. I think Will Mead backs me up on this one, and he goes on to say that if the interest remains, or if the interest continues to grow, we could be in a prime position for a short squeeze into the future. Now what I want to talk about is what we are seeing in the price section and why I think BBIG is falling today. Now, I have spoken about this in a few videos in the past week, but what I want to talk about is the options expiring today. We can see these have 0 days to expiration, and these are the options, and we can see a considerable amount of these are in the money at the moment. We have quite low options volume up until the point of $7, and we can see at $7.50 we have 4,000. But one thing that you guys will tell just by looking at the screens, we have volume of 262 for the options at $5.50 for example, but when we jump up to $9 we have 11,200 volume, and even at $8.50 we have 8,518. So ultimately, from the point of about $8 up until the point of about $11, we have a ton of options. I would even argue this is a majority of options for this stock based on what this data on bar chart is telling me, and that is clearly the case. So basically the stock is having all of these options potentially out of the money by the end of today. Again, if we do fall below 750, we could even get those 750 options out of the money. I do hope that does not happen, but a lot of people are saying that it is potentially the case that shorts are bringing the price of the stock down for one simple reason, and that reason would obviously be to make all of these options expire out of the money. Like I said, a considerable portion of options would be in the money if we finish in these specific price ranges this week, whether it be up at $8, $9, or even $10. We'd have a ton more options in the money. And of course, that is not something that shorts want to see. So a lot of people do think it is the case that shorts are bringing the price down today, specifically because, you know, we do actually have this options expiry today. Now, I know that may sound a bit sketchy to some people. Again, I cannot prove this, it cannot be proven, but one thing that I do know is, yes, this may sound like some theory, but what we have proven in the past with AMC specifically and GME, a lot of shady tactics do go on. So I'm not saying that it is happening here because I have no proof, but it is something which could possibly be happening. Tell me your opinions down below. But now we're going to move on to have a look at the technical analysis side of this stock and then share my opinions on that as well. On the 1 day, we can see that BBIG is falling, as I mentioned, currently sat on a price of 776, and you can see it has fallen lower in the past few moments. It was at 801 on the moving average, so we are slightly below that right now because of that drop. We are seeing a bearish trend on the MACD, as you would expect, and even down here on the RSI on the 1 day, we are sat on 32, which is incredibly low. I mean, yes, we are still a little bit away from being oversold, but we definitely are getting there. Now things become a bit more clear on the 5-day chart, where you can see a moving average figure of 816 for the past 5 days, a MACD trend which is becoming bearish as time does go on, and we can see that RSI is at 25. Now that really is incredibly low. It's only 5 points away from being oversold, so we really are getting there now on those charts. And out here on the 1 month, things are becoming more normal. Bear in mind, guys, this 50-day moving average is only just catching up right now because, you know, it tracks the past 50 days, and we can see the movement in BBIG really only started on the 27th of last month. So yeah, we have a lot of time to catch up, but fair enough. We are seeing a RSI figure of 56 over here, which was a little bit high in the previous 5 days or so. Now it is coming more to reasonable levels, and we are seeing that MACD trend, which was once bullish, now crossing over and becoming more bearish, as we have seen a few days in the green, followed by a few days in the red, followed by a bit of consolidation, but ultimately moves downwards for 2 out of 3 days. So the trend is not necessarily indicative of what is going on with the stock. From what I can tell, the short interest is still looking good. Ultimately, guys, as I have said, BBIG, will it squeeze or not? I cannot say for sure. One thing that I can say is that in my personal opinion, which is nothing more than my opinion, in my opinion, this stock and its data is looking good. The real question is, can we see the interest remain? And a lot of people have bought options which are considerably out of the money. And again, I cannot tell you guys what to do, but I'm just saying, people go for these options which are extremely up there and they lose a ton of money on that. And again, personally, I do not buy options, but if I was to buy or if I was looking into buying options, I personally would rather buy the stock. It's just my personal opinion. Of course, everybody has their own trading style. This is just mine, but I think options for short squeeze plays, if you time them correctly, yes, you definitely could get a lot of money, but if you do not, I'm sure you guys know what could happen. Tell me your trading strategy down below. Tell me what you're doing with BBIG. I think if people remain in this stock, I think if their interest remains in this stock, we're in a superb position going forwards into next week. Despite what the options may say, I think we are looking really good on this stock if we have sustained interest. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Please do tell me them. I'll see you all again soon for another update on this company. So thank you for watching through till the end, but let me tell you about our Discord. So on your screen you will be seeing the N2S Finance Discord. Obviously it is split into multiple sections. Basically at the top we have updates from me and all that kind of good stuff. If you scroll down a bit further, we have the main sections where we focus on cryptos, SPACs and other hot stocks, including penny stocks, even stable growth stocks as well, and we even have a special AMC GME chat. If you scroll down you can see some research and DD from the community. We also have funny memes and you can see actual contributions from members down here. And again, if you do join us, it is completely free, link is down below. But if you do want to become a Patreon, you will actually get a pink sticker which will be displayed on your name. So your name will come up in pink as mine comes up in red down here, and that will show that you are a Patreon. But other than that, guys, you can join completely for free down below. You do not have to pay anything if you do not want to. Thank you for watching, see you soon.